Chapter 71, October 7th, 2023. A day the world changed. It was a Saturday morning in Israel. People were just waking up. Some were celebrating the Jewish holiday of Simchat Torah. Kids were with their families. Teenagers were at music festivals. Life was quiet. But then everything changed. At around 3:30 a.m., Hamas, a militant group based in Gaza, launched a surprise attack on Israel. It wasn't just rockets, it was a full invasion. Fighters crossed the border in trucks, paragliders, boats, and even on foot. They stormed into southern Israel towns, shoot citizens, civilians, and took hostages, including children, the elderly, and their and entire families. It was the worst attack on Israel in decades. Many say the worst since the Holocaust. Over 1,200 Israelis were killed on that single day. Many more were injured. About 250 people were kidnapped and taken back into Gaza. It was violent, sudden, and horrifying. The world watched in shock. The emotional impact. Even people who weren't there, even those far away, felt the pain. Videos and pictures began to spread online. They were hard to look at. Families were seen hiding in safe rooms. There were terrified faces, screaming, grief, fear. People who had loved ones in Israel didn't know if their families were alive. Jewish communities around the world were heartbroken. Synagogues held prayer services, schools canceled classes. The fear spread fast, not just for Israel, but for what this meant for the world. And in Gaza, people were scared too. Soon after the attack, Israel began bombing Gaza in response. Building Buildings collapsed, innocent lives were lost there too. Families had no water or electricity. Hospitals were overwhelmed. It became a humanitarian crisis. So much pain on both sides. My thoughts when I first heard about it, I didn't know what to think. It was hard to understand how something like this could happen. So many people were hurt, so many lives lost in one day. It didn't feel real. I thought about the kids, the families, the people just trying to live a normal life, who now had to run, hide, or say goodbye to the people they loved. It made me feel sad, angry, confused, even scared. I kept asking, why now, why this much pain? Sometimes I just sat in silence, sometimes I prayed, sometimes I cried, sometimes I didn't want to hear the news anymore. But I also couldn't look away. The world responds. After October 7, leaders around the world made statements. President Biden called the attack pure evil and promised support to Israel. Countries like Germany, Canada, and the UK did the same. Protests and rallies started all over the world, some in support of Israel, some for Palestine, and some asking for peace for both. In the US, Jewish and Muslim communities both felt scared. There was a rise in hate criminal crimes and people worried for their safety. Schools, synagogues, mosques, and community centers added security. People were scared just to walk outside wearing something that showed their faith. Online, people argue. Some wanted justice, others wanted peace. Some were caught in the middle. A lot of people just didn't know what to believe anymore. What happens now is that even months later, people are still searching for answers. Families are still waiting for their kidnapped loved ones. Gaza is still suffering, and the war continues. There is no easy answer, no quick fix, just pain on all sides in a world that feels a little more broken. But even in all of this, some people are still trying to help. Doctors, rescue workers, peace activities, volunteers, people trying to build bridges, even while the world is falling apart. This is heavy, but it's true and it's real. October 7, 2023 was a day that changed the world and we'll never forget it. Chapter 72, Stories of Courage and the Voices of the Young. In the middle of so much pain, some people did something brave. They fought to live, they protect others, or they spoke up for peace. These are the kinds of stories that give people hope even when everything feels broken. Survival at the Music Festival, one of the hardest hit places on October 7th was the Nova Music Festival near the Garza Boulder. Hundreds of young adults were there dancing and celebrating when the attack began. A 25-year-old named Nora Argamena was seen in a video being kidnapped on a motorcycle crying out for help. Her story shocked the world, but some people managed to escape. A young woman named Enbar, just 21, said she jumped into a ditch and hid under bodies for hours, pretending to be dead. Another man drove through bullets to save his sister and her friends. One survivor said, I saw darkness that day, but I also saw people become heroes. A father's courage. In a small town near the border, a father named Aviheha Broduk and his wife hide in a safe room with their 3 young children. When the attacks tried to break in, he stood against the door for hours to keep them out. His arms were bruised and bloody, but he didn't let go. His family survived. Children in Garza. In Garza, families were all also trying to survive. Kids had to sleep in rumble without food or medicine. A 10-year-old girl named Dyla spoke to a reporter and said, I just want to go back to school. I just want the bombs to stop. Even though these kids didn't start the war, they are living in it every day. The stories matter too. Young people around the world. After October 7, young people everywhere started using their voices. In the US, some students started support groups at their school. They made posters, hosted candlelight vigils, and raised money for victims. Some kids even held interfaith events bringing together Jews, Muslims, and Christians to pray for peace. On social media, teens and college students post messages like, I may be far away, but I care. We stand with peace, not hate. Bring the hostages home, help the children in Gaza. Some people made videos explaining what happened. Others created art, poems, and songs. They didn't all agree, but many agree on one thing. Enough is enough. Too many innocent people are dying. These has to be another way. Why these stories matter. When the world feels full of hate, we have to hold on to the stories that show love, bravery, and hope. These stories don't erase the pain, but they remind us that the human spirit is strong. In every war, there are moments where someone says, not today, I'm going to save someone, I'm going to help, I'm going to speak out. And that's how the light breaks through the darkness. Chapter 73. Still hoping for peace. It's been months since October 7, 2023, but the world hasn't gone back to normal. For a lot of people, it may never feel the same again. Some kids can't sleep without checking the news. Some families still don't know where their loved ones are. Some towns are still in pieces, with empty houses, broken schools, and too much graves. But even now, people are still asking one big question. Is peace still possible? What peace looks like now? Peace doesn't always mean a perfect ending. Sometimes it just means people stop fighting, or they could choose to talk instead of hurt each other. Or they say, I don't want revenge, I want healing. In Israel, peoples have started peace circles where Jews, Muslims, and Christians sit down and talk about their pain. They cry, they listen, they try to understand. It's not easy, but it's something. In Gaza, even after all the destruction, some families are trying to rebuild what little they have. A boy named Kuriam, age 11, said, I still believe in peace, even after everything. The fear that lingers, even if the fighting stops, the fear doesn't always go away. Some kids are scared to go to school, others are scared to walk outside wearing a Star of David or a kashfa, whatever it is. afraid someone might have them hate them just because of who they are. Some people feel angry all the time. Others feel numb. Some feel both at once. A teen girl wrote online, "I'm tired of being afraid. I'm tired of losing people. I just want peace for all of us." When the world changes, war changes everything. It changes the way we see each other. It changes how we feel inside. It changes how we speak, how we listen, and who we treat, who we trust. But that doesn't mean we give up. That doesn't mean we stop caring. Even when the world feels like it's breaking, some people still reach out their hands. They still light candles. They still write songs, hang up signs, and say, "You're not alone." People start small. Maybe peace doesn't come from a government or a big speech. Maybe it starts smaller, with a conversation, with one person saying, "I hear you," with one hug, one prayer, one friend, standing up when someone else is hurting. Maybe peace starts with us. Chapter 74. What we care, what we learned. After a tragic like October 7, after months of war, pain, and heartbreak, we're left with a lot of questions, but we're also left with stories, with lessons, with the voice of people who lived it, survived it, and still speak out. Some people say, the world has moved on, but the truth is, we carry it with us. All of us, all of it. The fear, the sadness, the bravery, the hope. What we learn from the pain. When something this big happens, we learn who we are. We learn what matters. We learn how much we need each other. We learn that war doesn't always start with weapons. Sometimes it starts with hate. Innocent people always suffer the most. Silence can hurt just as much as violence. But we also learn that speaking up is powerful. Being kind matters more than ever. Hope is not weak, it's strong. Every voice matters. No matter where you live or how old you are, your voice matters. You don't have to be famous. You don't have to be a world leader. You can be a student, a teacher, or a friend, or a question person, or a quiet person who just wants peace, and your voice still counts. You can share someone's story, stand up when someone is being heard, tell the story even when it's hard. Be kind in a world that often forgets how. A teen in New York said, "I can't stop a war, but I can show love. I can remind people that human lives are more important than sides." Carry the stories. We don't forget the girls from Camp Mystic. We don't forget the kids from Garza. We don't forget the hostages, the survivors, the families who never got to say goodbye. We carry their names, their faces, their courage, their pain, and their hope. But remember them. We promise something. We will not be silent. We will not turn away. We will use our voices to speak, to carry, to build something better. Because even in a world full of storms, hate, and heartbreak, our voices can be the light that leads the way out. Chapter 75. Staying together when the world feels heavy. Sometimes the world feels too heavy. One day you're just scrolling through your phone, and the next you see something awful. A picture of a destroyed town, a video of people crying, a headline that makes your heart sink. You want to care, you want to help, but sometimes it's just too much, and that's okay. It's okay to feel everything. Some days you might feel angry, other days you feel numb. Sometimes you cry, sometimes you don't feel anything at all, just a quiet ache that doesn't go away. All of that is normal. Learning about war, loss, and the pain isn't easy. It's not supposed to be. It means you have a heart, and that's something to be proud of. Taking care of your heart when the world feels heavy. You don't have to carry it alone. You can talk to someone, a friend, teacher, counselor, someone you trust. Write down your feelings, even if it's messy or doesn't make sense. Pray or sit in silence if that brings you peace. Take breaks from the news or social media. It doesn't mean you don't care. Do something small and kind for someone else or for yourself. You're not weak for needing rest. You're not selfish for needing space. You're not broken for feeling heartbroken. You're not alone. So many people around the world, kids, teens, and adults, are feeling the same way. They're trying to be strong. They're trying to understand things no one should ever have to understand. They're trying to find dark light in the dark. And you know what? That matters. Your heart matters. Your voice matters. You matter. What strength really is. Strength doesn't always look like standing tall. Sometimes it looks like asking for help. Sometimes it looks like being kind when you're hurting. Sometimes it's just waking up and saying, I'm going to keep going. That's courage, that's strength, and that's what will happen. Will help you get through anything. If you need a reminder, here it is. You're doing your best, and that is enough.